Hello, hello. Thank you for being here today. You know, I'm holding this space as a space to respond to questions that I get often in my clientele or questions that come in through social media, where we can start really looking at some truth and put all this trauma away, all the suffering away, right? You know, our world's going to change when we come into integrity and into wholeness individually, right? That's the only way it's going to spread out. So today I want to firstly address the question of trauma, right? I feel that often we have a tendency to minimize our experiences and compare them to somebody that had these super dire experiences. I know for myself, I used to do that, and I'd be like, hey, you know, that wasn't that bad. That couldn't have caused me to go completely sideways like I have. Like, what's the matter with me? And what's true is that your level of sensitivity, right, is in control of all that, right? How you pull in these experiences and what you embody as your truth about yourself and about the world around you, right? And when that starts being created from a space of fear versus curiosity, life is going to take a completely different trajectory, right? So I'd like for us to just truly be able to step in and say, yeah, that happened. It isn't about blame. It isn't about what somebody should have done. It's about how you embodied that experience and what words were embedded in your programming and that you use every day to describe your experiences, to describe yourself, to describe the people around you, right? That's what's important. Now, how does trauma actually affect time, right? That's something we don't really think about. We think about how it affects us, but how does it affect time, right? So we've got this young child that, you know, is maybe 5 or 6, right? And this body hasn't had it for that long. And suddenly, he's faced with an experience that is more advanced than his brain has the capabilities of at the moment, right? Say a sexual encounter, right? That kid has no words, he has no framework to analyze his situation, right? It's much like if I were going to reach out my hand and touch a hot burner, what am I going to do? Pull back, right? So this child in this body goes, oh my gosh, it's not just happening to his fingers, it's happening to his body. I'm going to get out, right? So he backs out, right? That's dissociation, right? Or an out-of-body experience, right? An out-of-body experience we tend to relegate over here to the grown-ups, but the kids do it very easily because there's no thoughts around not being able to. They're just, it's a reaction. This is awful. This is, the core of my being is being attacked. I'm going to leave, right? So that kid is looking down on this infectious moment and goes, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with that, right? How am I going to get up tomorrow and possibly, you know, sit at the breakfast table with these human beings that I thought, right, were keeping me safe and protected, right? So what's he going to do? He's going to tie that off in a loop, in a time loop, in a cyst, right, on his timeline. Right now, what's interesting is so often, many of my clients have cysts in their bodies as well. But right now, we're talking about the cyst on the timeline, right? Now, we know these kids go through their life with this level of amnesia, right? Because this moment of time has been encapsulated and not in the flow of the rest of the timeline, right? Now, that doesn't mean that that information is not buried in the psyche somewhere, right? Now, we also have to understand that this astral body, this energetic version of the physical body that rose out, has molecules, right? And if you encapsulate this moment, you're also encapsulating a version of you in there, right? So if there's a version of you in there, then there has to be a fragment of the astral body in there as well, right? So when we talk fragmentation in a very literal, practical way, the astral body has fragmented, right? And left enough life force in this being to continue, right? But the bulk of the astral body has moved on, right? Now we know that we're offered 6 alternate timelines every moment, which is 90 seconds approximately, right? So that being said, in that next moment, the child hops over a few frames. It's like, oh, like, you know, let's go over here because now I have this choice, right? So I call that reality hopping. I'm going to hop over here. Now, the deal is what's going on over here in this timeline is similar, but different, right? So the child starts feeling like they don't fit in, right? That nothing's quite what it seems. Things aren't how he remembered them, right? And it almost feels like, oh, I didn't get the script for this moment. Like I, you know, people aren't hearing me or understanding me. I'm starting to feel separate. I'm starting to feel misplaced, out of place, right? Truly because he is, right? So that's kind of the, you know, that's the quantum actions that are responsible for what we call today PTSD. These moments in time that keep drawing us back, right? Being triggered from an experience today that sends us back to that moment in that loop that's constantly playing like Groundhog Day, right? Quantum actions that this child was able to take, right? Quantum actions can be duplicated. Quantum actions can be initiated on purpose. And these loops can be dismantled, right? Which means PTSD does have a remedy, right? It does have a remedy, right? So that's the quantum mechanics of trauma in a nutshell. And join me back here tomorrow and we'll be discussing, let's see, what is it? We'll be discussing how to actually stay in our bodies. Because most of my clients really like that as a challenge, like, you know, floating out, watching ourselves live, feeling separate, right? So when we can learn that there's an actual exercise for keeping the astral body and the physical body here on this plane, on this earth, right? The game's played here, guys. We chose to be human and we have to learn to play the game here, you know? So thanks for joining me. Now, what I really want to share, and I'm going to have this link in the comments and in the text above. Hop on a call with me. Truly, I would love to talk to you, and it's a free 30-minute call, and let's see what we can do for you, because truly, like, I believe in my core that the world is going to change with each and every one of us. It's not going to change by the government. It's not going to change by people praying. It's going to change by us taking the action necessary to change ourselves, right? If you're not in integrity, if I'm not in integrity, that out there is not going to be in integrity. So please, like I said, the link's going to be there. Hop on that call and let's like have a conversation. I look forward to talking to you. Have a great day.